We are well into the second half of this season, and AS Paris have a commanding lead on the rest of the division. Can anyone catch them? We might be able to find out over the last few match days. Hello everyone, I am Metafiction, and we bring you the first part of today's match day. This is match day 17, and we feature three very exciting matches for you today. Rova Mpanyaka versus Inter London, Masque Sacré against Seoul Mythic, and Kapstad against Cairo City. Certainly all very important in their own right. Rova, one of those teams chasing down Paris, as I mentioned, who are very much ahead of the pack, have had an absolutely blistering season so far. It'll be very interesting to see if anyone can catch them. So here we are in Antananarivo. It's a 4-2-3-1 for Rova. Meanwhile, Inter London, the visitors, also in a 4-2-3-1. And here is a look at the standings. Inter, in the bottom half of the standings, will be trying to gain ground, still very much within touching distance of being in the minors' first division next season. Remember, we're splitting the majors and minors into two starting next season. The top six this season will be in Division 1, the bottom six in Division 2. So certainly these players will be looking to try and get themselves above that cut line. Rova seem safe now, Inter perhaps in the drop zone, but that can still very much change over the course of these last few matches. Hugh takes the touch up the line, gets it around Gagne. Here's Smalls. Smalls shoots from a tight angle, and that one goes wide, courtesy of Gunn. Danger now stands over the corner kick, near post, and Skovgaard skies it. Another chance for Rova, continuing to pressure in that London area. While lofted in, Shermans can't quite get to it. Hugh, and Sherman's sending that over the bar, just like that header earlier. Another chance for Rova. 10 minutes just gone here. Hugh making a run, squares it, and Smalls with a great chance, but Gunn getting down just in time to parry that behind. That was a very dangerous chance for Rova. And off this corner, it's skied into the air. Kalinins, Smalls, Sherman's finding. That was Turk, who forced another save out of Gunn. Danger sends another free kick near post. This one's headed away. Sherman's able to collect, and Smalls' speculative shot blocked. Now here is Sherman's again, trying to put the cross in, and that one knocked behind by Alves. Continued spell of pressure here for Rova. Danger. And the back out, Sherman sends it to Smalls. Smalls loses it to Bear, and now Inter London can get it free. And that one just dumped out of play by Alves. I have to wonder why Alves decided to choose the opposite touchline for that, and he was right next to the near sideline. But in any case, Smalls shoots, and Gunn blocking it behind again. Rova not letting up. Near post from Danger again, and that's looped over the bar. And Rova have absolutely come out swinging in this match, but nothing to show for it just yet. London seemingly holding on by the skin of their teeth. 30 minutes gone now. Neither team scored yet, and it's another deep throw for Rova. Smalls takes the touch toward the center. Ricochets off the defender. Now Q trying to pass in, and that one's sent long, and now here comes London. Kijitas with the ball there. As time winds down on this first half, Rova still in the ascendancy, but it's a free kick from Inter London at the opposite end. O'Neill will deliver. That one floats into the area, falls, and Pisley Baird wasting a good chance there. O'Neill scooping up the pass, but immediately dispossessed. Long ball over the top, finding Tank Denstro, and that was offside. And so it seems that London will survive the first half. Rova subjecting Inter London to a veritable firing squad. 12 shots, 5 of them on target. 1.47 XG, but nothing in the back of the net. Some resolute defending and a little bit of luck for Inter London. Meanwhile, Rova less clinical than they really need to be. Going to be very interesting to see if London can continue to keep Rova out in the second half, or if Rova can find that breakthrough. So Aaron Fjord making their way onto the pitch, replacing Harvey Danger for Rova. Danger's main contribution, those corner kicks earlier on in the match. Rova getting their first real chance here with just over 30 minutes to play. Germans passes in, and Hughes Galloway. The shot was blocked right at the point of exit. Hughes Galloway in a really good position, has the ball again. And a long shot from Kalinins goes over. Now here's a deep throw for London. Paya passing in a bit of a triangle here. Here's Gagne, takes the shot and forces a save out of Schwarzer. Not been called into action too much today. O'Neill to deliver the corner kick. It's out to Blanco, who shoots from the edge of the area. What a goal by Benny Blanco. And against the run of play, Inter London find themselves up 1-0. Well, it was a beautifully worked corner routine. The seas parted for Blanco, who took it, it looked like first time, just absolutely blasting it through that alley that opened up. And so, Rova 0, London 1. But now here come Rova. Smalls gets it from over the top, shoots from a tight angle, and another save forced out of gun. Schwarta. Apologies if I mispronounced that. "15 minutes to play in London. Continue to hold this 1-0 lead. And it's going from bad to worse for Rova as Matt Oopsie Wrong Sport Turk forced off with injury. A promising player for Rova will play no further part in this match. 10 minutes to play. Rova facing real trouble here. This would put a huge dent in their title aspirations. Here's the super sub, passing it back to Skavgard. and into their own half do now progress. Here is Smalls. Hughes Galloway with the through ball to Denstro. Denstro fires it past Gunn. If the referee allows it, that would be a critical equalizer. And the goal stands. Rova have leveled it with only minutes to play. It was a beautiful first-time pass from Hughes Galloway. Denstro timing the run perfectly. Let's see that again. Just barely onside. Could not have cut it any closer. And that will be a huge blow to London, who look like they might be able to steal the 3 points here. Still a few minutes left to play, and they come forward, and that header from Kovac. Now it's a goal kick for Rova. We'll have 3 minutes of added time here. Schwarzer standing over it, does now pass it to Skovgaard. Long ball, intercepted by Paya. Now Wad sending it over, headed in. That's ultimately dealt with. Now here's Sherman's. Paya collecting, recycling for London. Cross goes in, trying to find, I believe that's Kijitas there. Could not. Now Rova running out of time. Here's Q. Kalinins to Smalls. Now here's the super sub. Paya tries the challenge, but it gets through to Schwarta. Kovacs trying to challenge. Cross from Schwarta. Close range goal by Heung-man Smalls. Have you ever? Oh my goodness. What a last minute goal in added time. Schwarta with a low cross. And that is an absolutely brilliant time to finish that goal. Rova trying to find Denstro there, trying to make another run behind. Couldn't quite there. London now in real trouble. But maybe, and that shot by Capillari could have been the most unlikely equalizer of all time. Trying to keep the ball out of danger. Fjord sending it long. Surely it now. Rova coming forward again. Denstro gets behind again. Gunn scooping it up, but it does not matter. Inter London had the lead until the 87th minute from the 64th minute. But heroics from Tank Denstro and Heung-man Smalls, the player of the match, have given Rova Mpanyaka the 3 points here today. A very important 3 points in this minors title race. What a performance from Rova. Give a thought to Inter, who thought they'd won it, but in the closing minutes, lost everything. A valiant effort from a London team that has had some mighty struggles this season. But it is Rova who are victorious here today, 2-1. And now we move on to Côte d'Ivoire, where Masque Sacré will take on Seoul Mythic. Masque Sacré also in that title race to an extent, certainly trying to put more pressure on Paris as much as possible. Meanwhile, Seoul might be a little bit out of it, but not eliminated by any stretch. It's a 4-2-4 for Masque Sacré. They've won their last 3 and a real hot streak. And here is Seoul Mythic with that 3-4-3 with Fuecoco cutting a little bit inside. And there you see Rova moving up to second. Masque Sacré fourth by some distance. And we kick off with Metafiction in all white going from right to left. Here's Warwick. Warwick gets to the end line and lays off a dangerous move, but it is knocked out of play cleanly. Warwick with a throw almost at the corner flag for Masks. Cross goes in, it's headed up into the air, and the shot, and it's put back in by Nico Lamb, but was he onside? They're looking at it on the monitors, but it will not stand. The goal for Metafiction taken off the board. Let's look at it again. And there you see, it looked like it took a touch from Walker, who laid it off to Lamb, who headed it down and in, but Lamb in an offside position. It will not count. Masks looking like they had gotten the opener, but it did not happen. There's not been much to report from this match so far as we near the 30-minute mark. Here is, though, a corner for Seoul. Fuakoko trying to cross it in. It's headed back out to Doug. Now Bot. Primarius. Here's Ken. Cuts it inside, and Kyung Min slices it. Seoul intercepting that pass courtesy of Jenkins. Now here's Salazar. Lasso beaten to it by Chevalier. Ken takes the shot, but Karras blocking it with very little trouble. Walker, and now Monroe. Monroe shoots, and Slothenberg, with a falling save, does push it behind. It'll be Warwick to take the corner for Masks. Near post, headed up in the air. Down for Chevalier. Bit of a header battle, back out to Chevalier, and that goes over the bar. Masks unable to capitalize here, but still have the attack. What a touch from Terrell. And Slothenberg with a kick save to push it away. Warwick. And that's headed out, and Jenkins will take possession. Chevalier. Terrell takes the shot. And again, Slothenberg pushing it behind. The Ivorian outfit in firm control late in this first half as that ball sent away. And now Hyung Min making a run forward here. Ken. Doug. Ken through the legs but couldn't find a teammate. That would have been an incredible pass if it had been to somebody. Now here's Karras. Warwick. Cross goes in, headed right at Slothenberg. Some very good moves by Masks, but no end product yet. Lamb. Cross goes in, and Benjamin Monroe finally breaks the deadlock. It's a good throw-in by McNeil to free up Lamb, ultimately, who puts the cross in. Either Monroe or Terrell probably would have been able to finish that, but Either way, it is Massacre 1, Soul Mythic 0 as we near halftime. 1 minute of the 2 added left, and Soul with the free kick, but ultimately going nowhere. Can Mash get forward and maybe get a second before the break? Here's Warwick making the run around Heung-min. Cross goes in, and that's headed by Lam. That was a dangerous cross. Ultimately, nothing doing, and that is going to be the end of the first half. Massacre with a 1-0 lead over Seoul Mythic going into the half, courtesy of Benjamin Monroe. Some excellent play there by Masks. Seoul really haven't put much together in the way of attack. We'll need to do a lot better in order to get back into this one. It's only 1 goal, but sometimes those 1-goal leads can seem absolutely insurmountable. So second half underway, green and black for Seoul Mythic, going from right to left. Warwick bringing the ball forward here for Masks. Lays it off to Terrell, but ultimately nothing comes of it. Mizukana now to McNeil. Trying to get around Salazar and does. Lamb. Pass finding Chevalier. And that one goes wide. Cautious passing here by Seoul. Don't want to give up a mistake and possibly double their deficit here. But it is Masks coming forward here as Walker through, and Monroe nearly had a second. A good save there from Slothenberg. So Massacre continuing the assault from the first half. Near post, headed up into the air. Monroe sending it back out, but Warwick can't hold on to it, and it's Lasso who ultimately deals with the danger. Seoul still yet to manage a shot on target here in this match. Sacre with 13 shots, 6 of them on target, but Seoul will have a chance from the corner here. Wakoko sending it in, and it looked like that was going in. Walker clearing it off the line. A heroic defense there. The shot goes over. And that was as close as Seoul have come today. So nearly the equalizer. Can they pick themselves back up after that? Now here comes Masks with the floated cross in, and Slothenberg able to scoop it up. Quick throw to Jenkins, who just about keeps it in bounds. So trying to find the outlet. It looked like Ken could have been released there on the breakaway, but ultimately Masks get it back. And now Warwick making another run. And here's Terrell. Back to Warwick. Cross goes in, and that's headed at close range. I believe that was Lamb, who very nearly had the second. Slothenberg really earning their paycheck today. Meanwhile, at the other end, here's Wakoko with a corner for Seoul. Headed back out. And Doug has a go. That's not far over, but over it is. 20 minutes to play. Masks holding on to this 1-goal lead. Walker. Mizukana trying to pass forward, but Bot able to intercept. Warwick. Worked around to Mizukana. Through ball. Here's Lamb. And another save from Slothenberg on Lamb. Warwick to the near post, and that is ultimately speared away by Doug. Only about 5 minutes left to play, and Masks looking like they're going to hold on to this one. Only 1 minute of added time, and that is come and gone in a flash. Seoul with potentially their very last chance here, and it's intercepted by Lamb, booted up the pitch, and that is going to do it here in Duque. Masks Sacré will win 1-0 on the strength of a goal from Benjamin Monroe. A great performance by the team from Côte d'Ivoire. Chris Warwick is your player of the match. Had 7 dribbles, was at the center of pretty much every attacking move for Masks today. Could absolutely do no wrong up that left wing. And Seoul unable to make anything count today. We'll have to go back to the drawing board for the next match. And so there you have it, 2-1, the final score there as Masks Sacré try to get back in touch with those title contenders, potentially make themselves relevant here in the final match days. But speaking of contenders, we go now to our final match of this first part of Matchday 17 here in the minors, where FC Kapstad will take on Cairo City. Cairo, of course, having had a very dismal season so far, could not be coming up against a worse opponent for them, as Kapstad, as you see there, have been on a huge tear lately. Certainly Kapstad making Paris work for it, as have Rova. Cairo, safe to say, the outsiders for this one. Kapstad in white-hot form as we get underway. Cairo in the yellow, blue, and brown, going from right to left. Kapstad in the green and yellow, left to right. Burns trying to find Delo, but can't, and now Kapstad trying to get on the break, but now here is Yo Jiang, but ultimately losing out. Brooks, though, touch too heavy, and Velat sweeps it up. Early corner here as Brooks sending it to Dobra, and that shot from Adu goes over. Early statement of intent, perhaps, for Kapstad, as that one crossed in, and Crying scoops it up. Now we're going to try the long ball. Here's Narvaez. Finding Yo Jiang. Yo Jiang shoots, and Jones just about pushes it behind. And it's a corner to Cairo City. Herrera taking it, trying to aim for the center there, and Downing heads it, and Jones holds on. Well, Cairo with the first shot on target, as Brooks finding Adu. Adu again from the edge of the box. This time, it takes a deflection off of a Cairo defender. And now Kapstad with another corner. It'll be Brooks to deliver. Dobra sending it back in. Gets it back. Ultimately cleared, but only as far as Fantabins. Obranca forced back from the pressure from Bobby. Ultimately do it. Some good pressing here from Cairo to force the ball back into Kapstad's half. Kapstad trying to find a way around, now have done here. It's Brooks taking the touch past Martin. Brooks in dangerous position, and Jalen Brooks fires it into the net for the first goal of the day. Well, it was a good display of pressing, but then Kapstad able to find that lane through the center. A well-worked series of passes, and Brooks finding himself all alone. Well, not quite all alone, but functionally all alone. Brooks now with the corner kick, headed in. It's Lewis Ashworth. Bit of a bobble in the box. VAR is looking at it. We'll have to take a closer look at it ourselves, but the goal will stand. So here it is, the corner kick from Brooks. It looked like it took a header off of that mass of players into Crying, who parried it right into the path of Ashworth. An unfortunate deflection, and it's Kapstad 2, Cairo 0. There's Moff taking the touch. Downing goes to ground with a challenge. But Kapstad continuing to try and find that optimal angle. Moff trying to pass for Ashworth. Martin puts the challenge in, but Ashworth goes down in the box, and the referee is going over to check the monitor for a possible penalty. As the physio goes on to check on the fallen player, the VAR check is underway, or is complete now, and the penalty is not given. The challenge clean, according to the referee. Well, that was a real heart-in-mouth moment for Cairo. They're already down 2. They can't afford to get into a deeper hole. But here's Wolf just skimming the net. Kapstad with another free kick. Brooks, and just pushed behind. That was a really dangerous free kick from Jalen Brooks as Fantomen stands over this corner. Heading into the air. Continuing to battle, still being juggled. Ultimately lands at the feet of Moff, who brings it back forward. Cross goes in. It's overhit. Brooks able to rescue it. Now Fantomen's cutting it inside. Yashoto's touch too heavy. And now Bobby on the break for Cairo. Might not have the numbers. Delo forward to Villat. Obranca taking the ball away, and now it's Kapstad's turn to come back forward. Ashworth. Now Dobra. Dobra at the end line crosses. Worked away. Bobby sending it clear, but only as far as Obranca. Peixoto. The lot beaten. Cross goes in, and that's headed over the bar. Sent long by Crying for Cairo. Slothinson. Now Narvaez up the line. Moff able to intercept, and now Kapstad coming forward again. Here's Fantomens. Gets around Delo. Into the box. What a run that was from Fantomens. And then the putback shot from Lucas Peixoto. And Kapstad's run seems set to continue at this rate. What a run up the sideline and along the end line by Fantomens. Crying couldn't really do much about it, and it just falls into the path of Peixoto. And Kapstad absolutely rampant right now. Will Cairo be able to get anything from this match? Peixoto. Cross goes in. Headed away by Slothinson. And Yo able to hold on to it. But it's back forward for Ashworth, and Lewis Ashworth makes it 4. Moff winning the ball and sending the ball forward. VAR looking at it. Was Ashworth onside? No, Ashworth was not. The goal will not stand. It was almost a brilliant move here as Narvaez can't quite hold on to it. Moff hitting it first time. Impressive. But Ashworth goes just a fraction too early. Deep throw now for Cairo, trying to get something from this possession as that shot pushed wide by Jones. Cairo with another corner kick. It's Herrera to deliver again. Sent near post and headed out far post. Just before the break, here's a free kick. Brooks trying to find Wolf. Ultimately forced back, but long shot from Dewitt, and that's not too far over as the first half comes to a close. Kapstad with a phenomenal 3-0 lead at the break. Goals from Brooks, Ashworth, and Payashoto. And their hot form seems to know no end at the moment. Cairo not quite completely beaten, but certainly looking the worse for wear after that first half. It's going to take a real comeback in order to get a point, let alone 3, from this game. We've seen Cairo do this sort of thing before, but with the form that this Kapstad team are in, it doesn't seem terribly likely. You have to wonder. The second half begins. Hurt Lightning making their way onto the pitch to replace Bad Wolf for Kapstad. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Kurt Lightning might be my favorite name in the SSL, even if they are coming to the end of their career. It's been an absolute privilege to commentate that name at least once a season. Lightning. And that shot from Adu. Probably should have called it a don't. Okay, that was terrible. I apologize. That corner near post, and that ultimately worked around, and it's another corner kick. Another corner from Brooks, headed away, and Adu, once again, just missing. Cairo now with another deep throw. Narvaez finding Yo. Slothinson and Narvaez with a little bit of confusion, ultimately having to send it back to Crying. Slothinson trying again. Downing loses out to Ashworth. The break could be on here. Dobra trying to get around Narvaez. Finds Lightning. Lightning into the box. Saved by Crying. Ultimately sent clear. And now Cairo are coming forward. Here's Delo. Payashoto in pursuit. Gonna catch up. But the pass forward trying to find Bobby, but well off the mark. Some frantic end-to-end play that ultimately comes to naught. And now Kapstad forward again in Cairo's half. Lightning takes the shot from distance, and Crying all they could do to keep that from going in. A thunderous shot, if you will, as Phantomans sends it near post, headed up, headed back out, and it's Bobby. Delo trying to get something going. Here's Velat. Bringing around Brooks. Couldn't quite find anyone on the pass, but here is Herrera. Herrera with the cross, headed away by Moff. And now Ashworth coming forward. Slothinson and Narvaez pursuing. But Ashworth beats Narvaez. Sloth, though, gets in the way of the pass. Long ball from Crying doesn't find Burns, and now Kapstad forward again, refusing to let up. Here's Payashoto with the pass, and Adu can't get there. Martin able to put that behind. Cairo just cannot keep it out of their half at this point, as that header floats in the air and Crying catches it. Van der Ben's near post again. Obranka off the frame of the goal, and Crying holds on. Narvaez. Slothenson sending it back again. Cairo really could use at least a point from this. It has been that kind of season. But here comes Dobra through to Ashworth, and Crying holds on to it as Ashworth is offside. Now here comes Narvaez. Trying to get around Dobra, but can't. Now Yo, trying to square it, finds Burns, who is forced out of the area, takes the shot anyway, and does force a save out of Jones. So another corner for Cairo, and another chance to potentially get one on the board. It'll be Herrera to deliver. And do it, sending it back out. Yo still with it. Now Herrera, but that only hits Kapstad players in the center, and Cairo were offside anyway. And direct your attention to the top center, as those shot graphs sort of tell the story. That shot from Burns off the post, and just barely missing. And Delo trying to pass in, and Jones able to land on it. Long ball from Jones, trying to catch out that Cairo defense. Slothenson chesting it down, and now back to Crying. Burns sending it back. Here's Herrera. That pass offline, and now Kapstad come forward yet again. Here's Ashworth. Brooks drifting inside and shoots from a tight angle. And that's 2 for Brooks today, as Kapstad make it 4-0. It's a brutal day to be a Cairo fan, as Kapstad hanging 4. That shot from Brooks just gave Crying no chance. With 10 minutes left to play, it seems all but a done deal. Cairo do come forward, trying to threaten the clean sheet if nothing else. But ultimately the cross, harmless. Lightning forward to Dobra. Dobra dribbling in, takes the shot, and from almost the same spot as Jalen Brooks, Dobra has made it 5 in barely over a minute. Dobra just able to get behind that defensive line for Cairo. There's nothing they could do. And as I was saying, that shot map in the upper center sort of tells the story. Kapstad absolutely dominant from pillar to post, and deservedly up 5-0 here. They are gunning for that title, Paris or no Paris, as Adu missing just barely, nearly made it 6. That's been the story of Adu's day. Sometimes close, sometimes not so much. As Dobra. Peixoto sending it back, and now Van der Benz takes a try. And added time just about expended here in South Africa. As Kapstad making a real statement here, 5-0 the final score here in Cape Town. Jalen Brooks with a brace. Goals also by Ashworth, Peixoto, and Dovra. It is Ashworth, of course, who is your player of the match with a goal and 2 assists. Strong performances all around by a title contending Capstad team. Going to be a very spicy last few match days. Meanwhile, for Cairo, it's more of the same. Already counting down the days until the end of the season. Almost certainly going to be in Division 2 next time out. But that is going to do it for the first part of Matchday 17 here in the SSL Minor League. Here's a look at the results once again. Rova Mpanyaka with that dramatic added time equalizer, or winner rather, to defeat Inter London 2-1. Massacre squeaking out a 1-0 win over Seoul Mythic, and we just saw Capstad with a phenomenal 5-0 win over Cairo City. Well, we hope you'll join us for the second part of this match day. Until next time, this has been Metafiction. Take care.